Hello, it's Len. I want to do something a little bit different than my usual uploads. So today I am in Port Hadlock, Washington. I'm here to show you the house that my dad has been working on since 1996. So it is currently, as I'm filming this, it's 2018. So that's 22 years that he's been working on this house. I know that sounds super crazy, but once you hear his story, you'll see why it's taken him 22 years and he's still not finished with it. He's literally building this place all by himself and it's totally amazing. So let's go out and meet my dad and check this place out. All right, you guys, so this is my dad. His name's Len, which is same as mine. My dad is a retired master carpenter who worked on many large construction projects throughout Washington state before his retirement in 2006. He started to take the idea of this home project seriously in 1993, and after purchasing a half-acre of land in a small neighborhood in Port Hadlock, Washington, broke ground and began building in the summer of 1996. He's paying for the build out of his own pocket by saving up to fund small phases of the construction and doing all of the work himself. With very few exceptions, he has lifted, carried, and set every board and beam and placed every nail, screw, and bolt by himself with his own two hands. If you don't fully understand engineering and construction, it can be a little hard to grasp what's going on here. Walking through the build, it just looks like a crazy maze of concrete and boards. So I had my dad draw up a very simple diagram of what he's built up to this point so that he could explain the functions and concepts behind his house in a way that's very easy to understand. Solar panels will help offset power consumption, and he has even devised unique systems for heating the house during the winter months and cooling it in the summer without electricity. It also features a series of light tunnels that will bring natural light into the lower floors that don't receive much daylight.
This will draw air from the top outside and in. It goes down to floor level, then it's piped 15 feet below the house, goes across the underside of the house at 15 feet, turns and comes back up in the far corner of the shop. This is the intake side of the system. This will have filtered intake, comes to here, then it goes into a set of pipes that come down 15 feet below the house and then spread out, go across and back up into the corner of the house where the shop is, and then at this point there'll be a structure that will allow the controlled air in the house to be cooled so that the air coming in that is cold won't mix with the air that's in the house. That'll be filtered intake air, and then it will be conditioned to whether it needs to be cooled or heated. This will feed light into the light funnels that will give you ceiling light into the apartment. This area on the first level is an apartment, and each one of the kitchen and the laundry room, the bathroom, and above the bar in the living room has a light. The light is collected from this side, comes down through the light story, and then is fed out in some large funnels that drop it through windows in the ceiling. And then once this is all closed up, like now on a sunny day, you get quite warm in here. So all that heat can be piped off to the solar sink.
Solar sink?
Yeah, it's just a spot where the sun warms it and it creates a heat sink. You store the heat and any waste heat from the house. So in the wintertime, if you're moving hot air, you instead of just blowing it out, you blow it through the sink so it retains the heat. I've sat on this quite a bit of the time, and then, like I said, any excess heat that you want to exhaust from the house can be pulled through here, and it'll give the heat up to the heat sink.
So this is going to be cement walls all along here.
Yes, all along this. This is the outside of what will be the outside of the cement wall. Then once the heat sink is completely built, and transfer systems for heat and stuff get put into place, then we can cover it all up, and the upper slab is finished floor on the
So
upper level.
this right here is your first floor, is that right?
Yeah, it's the basement is level 1, and this floor is level 2,
And then there's a sub basement.
and then there's a sub basement.
My favorite thing about my dad's place is all of the concrete work. The most fascinating part to me, though, is that below the basement, he has a sub-basement, or what he calls a seismic anchor. Check it out. There are currently 389 yards of concrete in the project, with an estimated 70 to 100 more to go to finish the foundation. His home is being built to withstand and survive a 9.0 magnitude earthquake.
This room here is a large mass of concrete around the room, larger, very, very thick walls, a very thick floor. This allows us to have a seismic anchor, which is its main function. That just keeps the house in one place, gives the whole thing to ride on if there's a earthquake.
So you're building this structure to withstand an earthquake of what sort of magnitude?
I engineered it to withstand a 9.3 to a 9.5, but with changes here and there in the way that I've constructed it, I'm quite positive that it'll ride out a 10.5.
And so your sub-basement, the area that you have, which is below the actual basement, works as a seismic anchor?
Yeah, that's one of its functions, is to be a seismic anchor. There's quite a mass of concrete there that helps hold the house into the hill. And so that's in the back center, and then in each front corner there's a massive column that goes down well below grade and helps tow it in, so that if there is a massive earthquake and you get liquefaction, it won't cause the house to slide out of the hill. It might slump a little bit, but foundations and such being what it is, it'll probably just stand there. You just have to blow stuff back up in underneath it.
Whenever possible, he uses reclaimed materials, and at this point, the building is made up of 60 to 65% recycled materials.
This is a temporary roof line right now. This part of the structure later on goes up here and up here, but I have not designed that portion yet.
So this roof that's over top of us is temporary.
This is a temporary roof, and I'm building a new temporary roof, so this one will come out and be able to use the materials in it for other things.
So now we're out back.
Yeah, this is the back side here now.
So this roof was your temporary one that's been here for years.
Yeah.
And now you're currently making a new temporary roof, and you'll get rid of all the stuff below it.
Everything I can just really reuse this. Once I reach a point, I can start tearing this apart and reuse it up above. That will get me up. It'll create more temporary storage for the time being, and I'll be able to cover up this whole area, including the concrete work I have to do. That way, once the roof is on, it doesn't matter what kind of weather you're in, you can do the work comfortably and not have to fuss and worry about rain when you're doing slab work. Then there'll be a glass front in this upper space, and I'll put in a black iron pipe, and I'll be able to heat water, so I don't have to pay for hot water.
You'll be heating your own water?
Yeah.
Without electricity?
Without electricity, yeah. It'll just, the sun will, as long as the sun hits the black iron pipe a couple hours a day, it'll give us enough hot water to, once the system's up and the water's hot, keep it in a storage tank and just circulate it. Eventually you'll have to shut it down once in a while because it will get too hot there. So this is the top of the lower photovoltaic deck on the roof. This little deck here, its primary function will be to allow maintenance and whatever else has to occur out here to be taken care of without having to get a ladder. Very much into not having a ladder to get anywhere on this structure. Steel beam go out to a column. Be one over on that side. Then you build your deck. That gives you a carport underneath, and then I can flood the roof with water, have it water fall off the edge, picked up in a gutter, brought back, pump, continuous system, and then have a walkway go out so that it's raised about 3 inches above the water. And you can go out right to the edge, and it looks like it falls forever. As you stand and look at it, as you start to go out on it, the edges just go away because of the water. It's just the edge of the water. It looks like it goes on forever. So we'll see what that looks like when I get done with it.
Hope you found that interesting. If you happen to be a fan of the 1980s or 1990s, have a look at my YouTube channel where I post clips from my personal VHS home videos.